let's get started on our quick and easy mini album. I did get a few more requests for this versus the December daily, but I did figure you guys can use it for the December daily if you wanted to. There's no reason not to, right? So what we're going to need to begin is 2 pieces of the 65 pound weight cardstock that are 12 by 12, and what I've done is I have put a piece of tape down the side here, just the 3/8 inch score tape, and then we are just going to remove that tape and attach our 2 pieces of our 65 pound weight cardstock together. So just attach them right there, just like that. Okay, and then our book is going to be 8 by 8, so we need 2 pieces of the heavyweight, medium weight chipboard, I believe it is. So 2 pieces that are 8 by 8 and 1 piece that's 8 by 3 3/4. That's going to be our spine. So we're going to start by putting down our spine, and I've already just attached just a little bit of score tape to the back here. You can use wet glue for this step. I am just, I don't like using wet glue on the 65 pound weight cardstock because I find it shows through. Now I'm just going to attach it right basically down the center of this, where our 2 pieces meet, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch down from the top. Ooh, not crooked though. Score tape is very unforgiving. So there we go. Nice and straight. Alright, and then I've also got it on the back of this one. So I just removed the backing, so now we're going to attach it, leaving about 1/8 of an inch between the spine and where this piece starts. Alright, and then same thing on this side. Just go ahead and leave about 1/8 of an inch. Just like so. Give that a good press down. And now we are going to go ahead and trim some of it off, especially at the bottom here. It's a little bit too wide. So not a lot, just some. And then a little bit off the sides here, just like maybe 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't need that much. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and fold over all of our edges really nicely, and this is where it's is really nice to have the 65 pound weight cardstock for wrapping the album, because the heavier weight would crack, and we don't want that. Alright, so just fold it over all the way around, and then we're going to attach our tape. So now there's just this final side here. Alright, and then just go ahead and burnish it. Alright, so now we've got our sides folded. So now we're going to attach score tape along all 4 sides of the chipboard and along all 4 sides of the paper. so we've got the tape all attached. So now just go ahead and give it a good burnish all the way around, just like that. And now we're gonna grab our scissors and we're gonna cut out our corners like we always do. So you can see from where we folded here, hopefully we can kind of see that better. It's created a square in here, so we're just gonna kind of cut up at an angle to the side of that square, and we're not gonna go all the way to the edge of the chipboard. We're gonna leave about 1/16 of an inch, just like that, okay? About that much space, and you're gonna go ahead and do that on all 4 sides. Now we've cut out all those corners. So now we're gonna start by removing the backings from our 2 short sides here, just from the chipboard. Then one of the long sides, and then one of the long sides of the paper. And we're just going to go ahead and fold that down and over, and then just give it a nice press out to the side, just like that. And then on the other side, we're going to go ahead and also remove one long side and one, well, I guess both long sides in this case. And just go ahead, fold that down, and same thing on this side. And now we can remove one of our last short sides here. Like that. Let's give it a good burnish down. Alright, and then the final one over here. Let's go ahead and fold that down. Alright. Give it a nice burnish, and now we can go ahead and burnish all the way around, and then you can just go ahead with the flat side of your bone folder and just make some nice creases right in there. And then there we go. There's our nice 8x8 book. Alright, so now we can add our spine hider piece, and that measures 7 3/4 tall by 6 3/4 wide, okay? And so what we need to do is attach our tape to both sides of our spine, not all the way to the top and the bottom, leave about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so both sides of the spine and all over the inside. Okay, so I'll put tape all over the inside here. And then I've also put it all around the edges of my 6 3/4 by 7 3/4 inch piece. And then we'll just go ahead and remove the backings. Removed all the backings from the back of our spine hider piece and the back of our, or like our actual book. So with the 6 3/4 side going this way and the 7 3/4 side going top and bottom, we're just gonna attach it down right on top of our tape there, trying to get it as even as we can, just like so. All right, and now we're gonna take our bone folder and just really burnish down that tape so we don't get any bubbles anywhere. Just like so. All right, and now we can go ahead and just find where our spine is there, just like that. And then same thing here, just kind of go back and forth while you lift, and then just make that nice groove in there, okay? And then it'll just come in like this, and then we are off to the races, all right? So next we'll attach our pages. Okay guys, let's get started on the pages for our album. So this is going to be the basic page for the front and the back of the album. So it is going to have a base page, and the base page is going to measure 8 3/8 this way, and then 7 3/4 tall, okay? And something that I kind of haven't been explaining in my tutorials is why I do these 2 hinges here, and I mostly do them all the time. So the reason I do them is when our album is in our pages are in our album. So this is the hinge that attaches to the book itself, right? And then I do either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch gusset here, so that it has space to lay with over the next page under here, and it also has space to lay back. And what that does is it gives us nice flat laying pages. I have a huge pet peeve for pages that stick up like this, or I fold it back and it's up here, right? Because I don't feel like that's usable. So that is why I do the second score line here, okay? So our score lines are at 3/4 inch and then at 1.5, okay? So 3/4, 1.5 on the 8 3/8 inch side. And we are going to have 3 of these identical base pages. So you're gonna make 3 identical base pages. Okay, and then I'm just gonna walk you through this page just so you can have a visual of what we're gonna be doing. But all of the pages are going to be identical front and back, okay? So technically we'll have 2 different page styles, but they're all going to be the same front and back, all right? So starting up here, we're gonna have a little flap that opens like this, and there's gonna be magnets attached in here. And then we're gonna have kind of like a waterfall, but it just goes a little bit differently down. So we're gonna have our first one that opens, and then the second one, and then the third one, and then back here you're gonna have space for your photos and everything else, right? So then that's gonna close, and right here we have a pocket, a nice deep pocket right there, and we're gonna have a nice insert in there. And then this whole page is going to flip up like this, and then we're going to have another nice pocket down here, okay? So that is how our page is going to work. And then the back of our page is going to be fairly simple. It is going to have a pocket here across the bottom, and then it's going to have an insert that comes out, and that insert is actually going to keep this cute little gatefold here closed, okay? So it's just going to go in here, and it's going to be what keeps our gatefold closed, all right? But we're going to start on this side of our page here, and let's get our base page out again, okay? So our base page measures 8 3/8 by 7 3/4. Okay, and remember, on the 8 3/8 inch side, you're gonna score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5, and that's gonna give us our nice flat laying page. All right, so the very first thing we will attach is our pocket that's gonna go across down here, okay? And so our pocket measures 7 7/8 by 4. And the reason it measures 7 7/8 versus 8, because the actual space that we have on our page is 7 inches, is because I really don't want anything sticking or being too large for my base page, okay? So we're gonna start by putting that right here. So on the 7 7/8 inch side, on the long side, you're gonna score it 1/2 inch on both sides, okay? And then I've attached my 3/8 of an inch score tape there. All right, and then across the bottom of the pocket, you're gonna place a 1/4 inch piece of score tape. Now it doesn't have to be 1/4 inch, it can be larger, but then your insert just won't fit as far down in. So that's totally your choice, or whatever you're putting in there, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and just remove a little bit of the backing from this side and just fold our little backing strip up, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna line up these two corners with our outer edge here, okay? Because we want it all the way out, not all the way in. Because there will be a little tiny bit of space over here. So line it up right where you want it. Make sure it's nice and flush to the bottom and to the side. And then we can come over here and press it down. And then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and press that down. Open it up. Give that a nice burnish down. And then open the side here. And then we will remove our little 1/4 inch and our 1/8 of an inch. Our 3/8 of an inch, and then just fold that right over, and it'll lay nice and flat over here, and then you can give it a nice burnish down. All right, I'm sorry if you hear some kidlets in the background, but for my son, his Christmas break started on Thursday, so he's out a little bit early because his school is moving over the Christmas break. So there might be some noisiness. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is attach our flap that's gonna come down from here. And this piece measures 6 7/8 by 8.5, okay? And to explain my method here, I had our score go at 3/4 of an inch instead of 1/2 an inch like I usually do, and that is only because I didn't see a reason to cut it down from the 8.5 if we didn't need to, because it's already standard 8.5, right? So on the 8.5 inch side, so the tall side, you're gonna score at 3/4 of an inch across the top. And again, like I said, if you want to keep it all uniform, you can for sure just go ahead and cut it at 8 1/4 if you want to, but I didn't really see any reason to do that. And then I've just attached a 1/2 inch piece of score tape here. So I'm gonna kind of just put my page to the side, and I'm gonna line it up all the way to the outer corner down here and to the corner up here, okay? And I'm gonna make sure that it is right where I want it, and then I'll press down over here and then just remove my backing and then give that a nice burnish down there, okay? And then that's my nice flap that opens. All right, and we're not going to need to attach a magnet to close this because it is quite heavy on the top from everything else we're going to put on there. All right. So now we can go ahead and attach our large pocket that's going to go on the top of this here. Okay. So this measures 6.5 inches tall and 7 7/8 wide. Okay. And all the measurements will be in the description box below for all of our pages and elements and all of that. But just while we're doing it, I'm just going to talk you through it. So 6.5 inches tall and 7 7/8 wide. And then we are going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides of the 7 7/8 side, okay? And then attach your 3/8 of an inch score tape. Or you can use wet glue if you're more comfortable with that. I just like to kind of prep all of my pages, add all the backings, and then sometimes I'll sit and watch a movie or whatever while I'm just attaching it all together. It's just easier for me. And then I've also attached a piece of 1/4 inch score tape across the bottom to close the pocket. So we're going to do the exact same thing that we did to attach the smaller pocket inside. Just go ahead and just remove a bit of your backing and press it back. All right, and then just attach it all the way to the outer corner and all the way to the bottom of our flap. Okay, so just like this. All right, and then once you have it where you want it, you can go ahead and remove that backing. Ripped off on me there, so I will improvise. Just remove the rest of that backing and go ahead and press it down, okay? And then we will just open it up, remove the backing here on our little 1/4 inch strip, and remove the backing on our 3/8, and then just close it right up, lay it right down, and then we have our nice large pocket, and then we'll add an insert later on. All right, so now we're to the step where we're gonna do our little waterfall pieces, and I'm just gonna bring in my finished page here to show you. We're gonna start with the smallest one at the top, and then the medium one, and then the large one, okay? And then we'll add our little closure. All right, so I'm gonna lay my page to the side again, just so I can see a little bit better, okay? So you're gonna start with the piece that measures 6.5 by 5. And all of our pieces are going to measure 6.5 because that's the width of our pocket here, and I wanted to completely cover the pocket. So now we've got our page that says top and bottom, and I'm just gonna flip it to the side to work on it, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and attach the 6.5 by 5 first. So it's gonna be 5 inches tall and 6.5 inches wide, and then you're gonna score it at 1/2 inch on the 5 inch side. And again, we're just going to go ahead and remove a tiny bit of the backing, bend it back, and then I'm actually probably gonna just put it upside down. It's probably gonna be best. Line it up all the way to the corner and all the way to the bottom and all the way to this edge over here, okay? And then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and press this down and gently remove the rest of your backing and then close it down. Give it a nice burnish. So that's our first little flap attached there. All right, and then we can go ahead and attach the next one, which is technically our medium-sized one. So this one measures 5.5 by 6.5, and on the 5.5 inch side, you're gonna score it 1/2 inch. All right, and then just remove a bit of your backing. Just gonna trim this off here. I have some rogue score tape. I'll get that after. So just remove a bit of your backing on this side here. Bend it back on itself. And as you're working, you're gonna see the best angle that works for you, right? I'm just kind of playing around with it here. All right, and you're gonna put it all the way to the edge down here. Line it up with your first piece across the bottom. Make sure it's nice and even. And then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and remove that score tape. And you can kind of close it down, make sure they're all nice and even with each other, which they are. All right, and now we will go ahead and attach our next piece. So the next piece measures 6.5 by 6, and on the 6-inch side you're going to score it 1/2 inch. All right, and then burnish and add your tape. So I'm just going to remove a bit of the backing, bend it back, just like so. Okay, and then line it up right where you want it. Make sure it's nice and flush with your edge down here. Just like this. All right, and nice and lined up with your bottom piece there. And once you got it, press it down. Gently remove that score tape. All right, or the backing of the score tape. Every time I say remove score tape, it means I remove the back of the score tape, not the actual tape. All right, so now we've got all our flaps on, okay? And now we're gonna add the piece that is going to be for our closure. So this piece is gonna go right here, and then it's gonna fold in, and that will be our closure, okay? So this piece measures 4 1/4 by 4 3/4, and on the 4 3/4 side, you're gonna score it 1/2 inch, okay? And then add your score tape. And then it's totally up to you where on your pocket here you wanna put this. If you wanna play around with it and put it up and down, so that it's kind of got a different look, I put it in the center on here, and I think I am just gonna continue the center thing. But you can put yours wherever you want on that pocket. And I'm just gonna go ahead, remove a bit of my backing, fold it up, okay, and then kind of just place it, try to find your center. If you really want, you could measure, but I'm probably not gonna measure because I just won't. That's just not how I craft. All right, so give that a good burnish down, and then it will just fold in like this, and then that will be that. And then you would just add your magnets like this right here. So I added 2. If you have the larger magnets, you just have to add 1 in the center, but I just added 1 here, and 1 there, and then it just closes up, okay? Just that one set. And like I said, if you do have the larger one, just use 1 larger one, and then you don't have to worry about using 2 sets of magnets, okay? And then that will be the closure for that, all right? And then let's work on the back side of our page. Okay, so now for the back side of our page, it's pretty simple. But what we need is our pocket across the bottom, and then our nice little gatefold up here. So let's start with the pocket across the bottom. So our pocket measures 3 by 7 7/8. It's a little wonky there, my tape, but that's okay. So 3 by 7 7/8. And you're gonna score at 1/2 inch on the 7 7/8 inch side. So again, we're just going to remove a bit of our backing here and bend it back on itself, and then line it up all the way with the outer corner here, just like so. And then make sure it's staying nice and lined up over here, and it is, so that's good. And then remove our backing. All right, and then we need to attach a piece of the 1/4 inch score tape to go across the bottom. Alright, so just right along the bottom here. And then give it a good burnish. Alright, and now we can remove that and remove our backing over here on this side. And then just let it lay down right where it wants to, just like so. Alright, and then give that a good, nice press down everywhere. Alright, so now for our little gatefold up here, we are going to attach our pieces. So this first side measures 4.5 by 4 3/4, and on the 4 3/4 inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch, okay, and attach your score tape, and then just go ahead and burnish that, and then bend it back, attach it all the way to the top and all the way into the corner here, okay? Just like so. Alright, and then give that a press down and remove the rest of your tape. You can go ahead and burnish it. Alright, and on the other side you're going to have a piece that measures 3 by 4.5, and on the 3 inch side you're going to score it 1/2 inch. Alright, and just give that a nice burnish down. Bend the adhesive back. And then for this one, we're actually just going to close this side, okay, and line it up with this side here. Alright, now just give that a good burnish down. Alright, so now we have our little gatefold opening. Give it a really good burnish. Alright, and now we have our little insert that goes in here to keep it closed. And this is going to measure 5.5 by 5.5. And don't worry about like how it's staying closed right now, because remember we're going to be putting, you know, either pattern paper or a photo mat on here and on the backs, and then this is going to be matted front and back, so that's going to give it some weight and it's going to help it stay closed a lot better, okay? Alright, so those are our base pages done. So we just did one together, right? And you're going to make 3 more just like that. So I have 1 more page to make, and then we'll attach them into the book. Okay, so I finished the last page. So now we can go ahead and attach our pages into the book. And what I've done here is I have made a line from the edge of my spine right here. I've made a line 3/4 of an inch in, just so that I know my starting point. So I can attach my first page right there, and I know that I'm right where I need to be for spacing, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay your page kind of like this. You're gonna press this in, and then we can remove a little bit of the backing and fold it back like we always do. And so basically what I did is I measured 3/4 of an inch in here, and then I just connected the line. All right, and we're just gonna line it up with the spine hider piece. All right, and we know it's straight because we made that line. So we can go ahead and remove that backing. Give that a good press down. All right, now turn it over. And we're gonna go ahead and attach our next page right here Okay, so we know this one is straight, so there's no reason for this one not to be straight if we just line it up with that first one. Alright, so again, just bend it back a bit. And I still have to attach my magnets for the closure here, but that's okay. Alright, so just line it up right with that one. And line it up here. Alright, and then we can just press that down and remove that backing. Okay, and then give that a good press down. Alright, and flip it over. And do you see how nice and flat they lay on top of each other? That's why we do that extra hinge. Alright, now this one is just going to go right here. Okay, so we will go ahead and remove that backing, or just a little bit of it. Fold it back on itself, and then line it up. Make sure you lined up top and bottom. Alright, and then go ahead and press that down and remove that backing. Alright, so our pages are in. Alright, and then you'll see back here we have our 3/4 of an inch space, and then at the front here we also have that. And you see how nice and flat these lay on top of each other? That is the whole reason that we do that extra hinge. And then when we fold them back like this, they lay so nicely on top of each other, and that is what that is why we do that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is the front and back have a pocket, and that pocket is going to have two 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mats, and I'm doing my mats in red. Okay, so I've already done the pocket back here, but we are going to do it in the front here now. Okay, just make sure I'm in frame. I'm using a little bit of a different recording situation today. So the pocket measures 4 by 9. Okay, so it's 4 inches tall by 9 inches wide, and it's going to go right here all the way down into the corner. Okay, so obviously on the 9-inch side we've scored it 1/2 inch on both sides, right? And then what I've actually done here is instead of the 1/4 inch, I've put an 1/8 of an inch, or sorry, I've put a 3/8 of an inch piece of score tape, because there's all these like bumps to get over, and I want to make sure it's going to stick really well. So I'm going to remove a little bit of my backing on this side here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to line it up over here on this side. And I'm going to get it all the way down into that corner. Just going to double check I'm in frame. Yeah, okay. So all the way down into that corner and all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then once you have it, go ahead and remove the backing, and then we can open it up, remove this backing, and I have some overhanging tape here, so I'm just gonna bring it in, and then we'll also remove that backing down here, and then we can just close it right down, and it'll go right where we lined it up. So now we'll just go ahead and burnish that down really nice. Alright, and now I've cut a piece of pattern paper from the collection I'm using down to 5.5 by 7 3/4, and I'm using that Pretty Poinsettia pattern. And I like to use wet glue when I'm doing things like this, just because it gives me an extra second to move it around if I need to. So just get your glue all over there. just like so. Make sure you get it along all the edges because like I said, it has to go over bumps and stuff. And then just slide it right down into that pocket. It's not going to go all the way down because that would be a huge waste of paper. It's just going to go about 1.5 inches past our pocket here, down in here. Just press it down really nice, and then it is going to have the two 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mats in there. Okay, so the final thing we need to do is add our little pocket on the top of this pocket here. And that is why we left this larger section here, because this is going to be a 1/2 inch pocket, and I just want there to be lots of room for this still to lay on top of the pocket and not to be super bulgy, okay? So what we need to have for this, I'm going to show you kind of a fun little closure for it, for our pocket, something different than magnets and Velcro. I've never really liked Velcro anyways, but so we're going to put a piece of score tape right across here, just like that. And then we're going to remove the backing from the score tape. And then we're going to take some of our pretty brown seam binding that is from Country Craft Creations, and I'm just going to lay it right across there, just like that, okay? Alright, so this is the top of our pocket, our nice dimensional pocket. So it measures 3 by 8, and on the 3-inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1, so you have those two 1/2 inch sections. And then on the back here, on the inside, so not on the outside of the flap, the inside of the flap, I've put my 3/8 of an inch score tape, and we're just going to slide that in right behind the pocket here, and it is basically going to attach to the inside top of the pocket. Okay, so it's going to attach right there. Alright, so just like that. So that's going to come down and be the top of the pocket, and then this is going to be the actual bottom pocket here. So this piece measures 5 inches tall by 10 inches wide, and on two of the long sides, I guess, you're going to score 1/2 inch and 1, 1/2 inch and 1. So on the two long sides, 1/2 inch and 1 and 1/2 inch and 1, and then on the short side you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. So 3 sides, 2 long sides, 1 short side, or however you want to think of it, but you can get the visual right here. You're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 on 2 sides, and then this one here 1/2 inch and 1, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and completely cut out these 4 squares here that our score marks have created. So we're just going to completely cut those out, just like so, all the way up to the top, just like that. So that's what we're going to have. So now you can go ahead and fold those in. Just use your bone folder to get them nice and crisp, just like so, all the way around. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the bottom of the pocket to the bottom of this pocket, okay? And we're just going to go ahead, like we always do, and remove a little bit of the backing just like so. And we'll fold it back in this case. All right, and then line it up right along that pocket. It is going to be basically the exact same size as our flat pocket that's underneath. Let's get the rest of that backing out of here. All right, now we can stand it up, and then basically we will put down one side at a time. So again, go ahead and remove that backing. I'm going to try to just remove it all at once, and then just kind of press it back so it's nice and square, and line it up right with your pocket there. And then you can go in with your bone folder and press down that side nicely, just like that, and then go ahead and remove the backing from that side, and the same thing, just bring it down so that it is nice and square to the pocket. All right, and then once you have it where you want it, you can go ahead and get in there with your bone folder and press it down. All right, and then this is going to close over. And then we've got our pretty little closure here. That's just going to tie up to keep our pocket closed. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can add your magnets or however else you want to close it, but I just thought that was kind of a super cute way of closing the pockets. All right, and now we're just going to work on the closure for the album. So it's, again, with the seam binding. All right, so I've gone ahead and done it on the back here. So basically I've just attached a piece of seam binding and then put my my paper over top of that here, and that's basically what we're gonna do here as well. So I've attached my little piece of tape, and all I did was kind of brought this around so that I could line it up where I knew it was going to need to be. All right, and now we're just going to go ahead and remove the backing from that and get our piece of seam binding. So I'm using the same brown seam binding and just attach it down to that tape, and then go ahead and cut off any excess. And then I've got my pattern paper here, and my pattern paper measures 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. What a mess I've got here. And I'm just gonna use my wet glue here. I'm just using some Tombow multi liquid glue. It's one of my favorite liquid glues. So all over the back of that, and then I'm just going to put a couple squiggles right over that too. And then we can just go ahead and attach it right down to our, just give it a good press down all over. You can just kind of hold it at the back there. All right, so that's nice and attached now. And then these two would just tie together. And then you've got your little closure for your album, okay? So we've got our pocket here at the front. That's gonna have our two 4x6 inserts in it. So we're gonna have two 4x6 inserts here. We've got our pages, and we all know what those have. And then at the back here, we've got our super cute little pocket, and it is also going to have our 2 inserts that can slip right behind there. So I think that's kind of a cute little design there. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It will be, the finished product will be uploaded in the walkthrough. Everything that I've used from Country Craft Creations will be linked below this video. So see, we have that nice pocket in the back, but we still have lots of room. So that's why I left that. All right. So yes, everything will be linked below this video, all the products that I've used from Country Craft Creations, and I hope you really enjoyed the tutorial. I really enjoyed making it for you. This book is so simple but so beautiful. It could come together in just a couple of hours if you just pre-cut everything, get everything, get your adhesives all ready to go. It could come together super quickly. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I enjoyed creating it for you, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you haven't yet, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.